Today we're going to discuss the deep muscle of the back. And deep of the muscle of the back we divide it into five section or five parts. Okay, and then each part we have some parts in first layer we consider, then second and first third layer. Okay, first we will consider suboccipital region, suboccipital muscle. First division, suboccipital muscle, suboccipital muscle, suboccipital muscle. In suboccipital muscle we have rectus, capitis, posterior, because we talking posterior side, back side, that's why posterior, minor muscle. Okay, then we have rectus, capitis posterior, major muscle. Okay, then we have four muscle in suboccipital muscles. Okay, then we have obliquus, capitis, because we talking in the capitis region, that's why we capitis, superior, this one. Okay, this one superior and this is inferior one. This one is superior one and this is inferior one. Okay, and this is rectus capitis posterior minor, and this is rectus capitis posterior major muscle. Okay, the capitis region, this is four muscle and this is the suboccipital muscle. Okay, in deep group of muscle of the back. Then we have obliquus, capitis, inferior muscle. Okay, superior and inferior muscle. These are the four group of four muscle in the suboccipital muscle. Then we have second we have system of short muscle, In system of short muscle we have two muscles like this one. This is the intertransverse spinalis muscle. Intertransverse muscle, and this one is a interspinalis muscle. Okay, just I am showing here. This is intertransverse. Here I also will write intertransversus muscle. Okay, and the second muscle we have interspinalis muscle. What is the intertransverse muscle and interspinalis muscle? Intertransverse muscle means because in vertebra, when we discuss the body vertebra structure in bones, we decide we have transverse thoracic, and there's the originated in exertion, means from one transfer process vertebra they are originated and the next vertebra they inserted. Okay, interspinal is between the spine process of the vertebra. Their muscle, this muscle we have. Okay, this muscle we consider in the very deep muscle of the group of muscle. This muscle we consider this is the third layer of back, muscle of a deep muscle of back. Okay, this muscle which I write to you. Then we will go into discuss each muscle. First we discussing the five section which we division the deep back muscle of the back. Okay, suboccipital muscle which we know rectus capitis muscle, minor rectus capitis, major, then we have superior obliquus, then we have inferior obliquus capitis. Okay, because and then we have intertransversus and interspinalis muscle, and these muscle are the third layer muscle of the deep back muscle. Okay, then we have second layer muscle we will going to discuss. Second layer we have second layer we have first transverse spinalis muscle, transverse spinalis muscle. And transverse spinalis muscle we have, because this is two we already discussed, this is the third one. Transverse spinalis muscle we have semispinalis. Spinalis is here. The between semispinalis fill the space between the spine process and transverse process. The space between transverse process and spine process of vertebra from head to sacrum region, they are filling this area. Okay, semispinalis muscle. Okay, then we have next muscle, we have rotator muscle, and then we have multifidus muscle. Multifidus muscle. This rotator and multifidus we have two heads, short and long. In Latin you can say this is a brevis, and this is a longi. Okay, longi muscle. Now this one part, they are the second layer muscle of the deep back muscle. Okay, for third layer we discussed this is the second layer muscle, transverse spinalis muscle, which we have semispinalis muscle, rotator muscle, multifidus muscle, which are included in the second layer of the deep muscle of the back. Then we have first layer we have which muscle? First layer we have spinalis muscle. Four. Okay, and spinalis muscle we have one muscle, it's spinalis muscle. Spinalis muscle. Okay, then fifth one, the last one, we have spinotransverse muscle. We have transverse spinalis muscle. In transverse spinalis muscle we have splenius muscle. Then we have longissimus muscle. Okay, muscle one, longissimus muscle, and the iliocostal muscle. These muscle which we consider in the first layer of the deep group of muscle. Okay, these muscle we discuss again. We will be repeating the short summary. We have suboccipital region muscle. Then we have transverse spinalis muscle, system of short muscle, which we have include interspinalis muscle and intertransverse muscle. Then third we have transverse spinalis muscle. Transverse spinalis muscle we have three muscle. Okay, we have semispinalis muscle. Then we have rotator muscle, and then we have multifidus muscle. Okay, and this is a transverse spinalis muscle in the second layer. And then we have the first layer. We have spinalis muscle. We have spinalis muscle. Okay, then we have transverse spinalis muscle, which is the last. The last one is splenius muscle, longissimus muscle, and iliocostal muscle. This is the first layer of the muscle. Now we will going to discuss each layer muscle. Okay, first we will going to from the third layer we start, because this is a deep muscle. Okay, and we deep muscle starting from the deep. Okay, then we have third layer muscle. First suboccipital muscle we discuss. Suboccipital muscles. Suboccipital muscle we have discussed rectus, capitis, posterior, minor. Okay, if we talk is minor, origination from where? Okay, look, origin and insertion. Before this, I just want to tell you the main common features between the deep muscle of the back. Common features. Then we will going to discuss the other common feature. Okay, common feature like between origination, insertion, and function. Common feature of the back muscle, deep back muscle of deep back group muscle. Okay, is These all muscle, deep muscle, they are originated from vertebra and inserted in two vertebra, or inserted on the vertebra, okay, on the vertebra. Understand, this is the common feature. These muscle, they will be origination from the vertebra and inserted also to the vertebra, okay. And the common function between these deep back muscle, we have these muscle will help in the extension of a vertebral column, because vertebra we have in vertebral column. These are the common feature which I told. In what we have common feature, they originated from the vertebra and inserted into the vertebra and extension of the vertebral column, okay. These are the common feature in of the all deep back muscle, okay. But we discussing the rectus capitis posterior minor and major muscle, okay. Origination from the, here you saw, if you remember the vertebra, that's why I told you, if you know the bones, each area and formation, then you must easily understand the origination and insertion, okay. Like here we have originated from the minor one, origination and insertion of the rectus capitis posterior minor muscle, okay. Here we, if you can say, this is a minor muscle, I already told. And here which vertebra we have? Atlas vertebra, C1 vertebra. And which area? This is a posterior tubercle is origination, produced tubercle of a C1, okay. And inserted where? In the inferior knuckle line, because we already discussed superior and inferior knuckle line in occipital bone, okay. Inferior knuckle line. These are the origination and insertion of the rectus capitis minor muscle, okay, posterior minor. Now the second muscle we have rectus capitis posterior major muscle, okay. Origin and insertion. Here, you know, this is a major muscle. From where it is, because this is a transverse process of vertebra. This the line which I showed. This is a transverse process of vertebra. And which transverse process of which vertebra? Axis. Transverse process of C2. It means axis, C2 axis, okay, because this is C2, and inserted into the inferior knuckle line. Simply, we are discussing suboccipital muscle, rectus capitis posterior minor muscle, which originated from the posterior tubercle of the atlas and inserted into the inferior knuckle line, okay. Then we have rectus capitis posterior major muscle, which originated from the second vertebra. We have now axis, and axis is transverse process from origin and inserted into the inferior knuckle line of occipital bone, okay. These are the rectus capitis posterior major and minor muscle origination and insertion. Now next we have in the suboccipital muscle, we have here obliquus capitis superior muscle, origin and insertion. You know, if we remember what bones is very easy, not difficult, okay. Now superior one, here which transverse process of what? Axis, and inserted into the inferior knuckle line. Transverse process of C1 atlas, okay, atlas, and inserted into the inferior knuckle line. But this one is a obliquus capitis superior one, inferior one. Obliquus capitis inferior muscle. Okay, origin and insertion. Now see, very simple, you know, this is a spine process. This inferior obliquous muscle originated from the spine process of the axis. Spine process of axis means C2 vertebra, and inserted into the where? In the transverse process of C1, means atlas. These are the origination and insertion of the, which we discuss, is the suboccipital muscle and third layer muscle of the deep back muscle. Okay, these are the origination and insertion. Now the third layer, we have others. Second muscles, which we have system of short muscle. Okay, system of short muscle. The second one, we have system of short muscle. Which we have two muscles. One, we have interspinalis muscle, interspinal or interspinalis muscle. Okay, which origin and insertion. Very simple. Okay, origin, which I told, this is interspinalis muscle, is originated from the, because it's from interspinalis, between the spine process of each vertebra, is originated from the spine process of below vertebra and inserted into the above vertebra. Okay, and spine process of above vertebra. Very simple. Okay, it means interspinous muscle, which are between the spine process of each vertebra. Okay, and it originated from the below vertebra and inserted into the above vertebra spinal process. Okay, these are the interspinalis muscle. Okay, now second muscle we have in the third layer, system of short muscle, we have intertransverse muscle, transversalis muscle, or transverse muscle. Okay, its origin and insertion. Very simple. Which, how we discuss the interspinal, the transverse process is the same, you know, but in transverse process of vertebra, each vertebra. Okay, here this is the transverse process, which I told the line, this is the transverse process. It means it's transverse process of below vertebra is originated and inserted into the above vertebra, but transverse process. Okay, transverse process of above vertebra. These are origination and insertion of the second system of short muscle, interspinalis muscle and intertransverse muscle, which we discussed. Origination from the below vertebra, below spinal process and below transverse process, and inserted into the above spine process of vertebra and above transverse process of each vertebra. Okay, these are the original insertion of the system of short muscle, interspinalis muscle, intertransverse muscle is the, which muscle is the second layer muscle, which we discussed. Okay, first layer we discussed. Now we will going to discuss the